I originally had a plan to leave on May 25th and come back on August 21st with a 2.5 hour long video of me ranking 21 Pilots songs. I was gonna rank them by vocals, lyrics, replayability, and instrumentation. Then I was gonna rank the albums and do some other things and just have this big magnum opus of a video. Cause I thought by August, 21 Pilots would be back and they would just drop a new album or some songs randomly and then I would be able to rank them all. But instead, that's coming out in September and I can't wait that long to make videos. So instead, I came back a little bit early and I'm here to follow up on a video that I asked you guys about a long time ago. I took 50 different top 10 lists, whether that was you guys, people in my real life, people in the 21 Pilots Discord, or some online lists, and I got the average top 10. I'm trying to get the average here. Gonna show you some graphs. I'm gonna go over songs that didn't make the cut, some songs that got lesser votes, and then we're gonna get into the top 10 from 10 to 1, tell you how many lists they were on, and just see the most common top 10 21 Pilots songs. So here we go. I don't really think that I should include songs that weren't included in the list or songs that got one vote because really there weren't that many that got only one vote. A lot of you have the same top 10 lists or songs that really coexist together. I think the ones that only got one vote that I saw were like Oh Misbeliever, some songs from Regional at Best, certain songs from Scaled and Icy, stuff like that. So I didn't really want to include those. Let's just start off with the 13 songs that were on two lists. We got Lavish, makes sense. It's a fun song, an acquired taste, not on many people's top 10 list. House of Gold, it's a classic, but it really doesn't have that much replayability value. Formidable and Bounce Man makes sense. They're like the two least liked songs from Scaled and Icy. We got Slow Town, Forest, Clear, Kitchen Sink, just Regional at Best songs that some people know, some people like, but a lot of people don't. We got Level of Concern, a single that's pretty much for COVID, so it doesn't really have a lot of replayability value. Then we got Doubt and Hometown, some of the lesser known songs from Blurry Face, even though that album is super popular. We got Fairly Local, which I'm honestly surprised wasn't on more lists, but I guess there's so many good 21 Pilots songs that Fairly Local just didn't make the cut. We got Before You Start Your Day and Truce, which are those, slow types of songs that I'm surprised, honestly, that Before You Start Your Day got even 2 votes on anyone's top 10 list, but it's nice to see some of these songs here, and some of them maybe deserve to have 0 votes on top 10 lists, but it's nice to see these here. I'm glad that they were able to work their way into some people's top 10 list, even though it's only 2 people out of 50. 12 songs made it onto 3 out of 50 people's top 10 lists. Those songs are Ride, which, makes sense. It is one of the most overrated and popular 21 Pilots songs. Obviously, it's nostalgic for some people, but a lot of people probably don't think about it that much. Legend, one of the lower songs from Trench. I think it's the second least streamed because it is the second to last track. No Chances makes a lot of sense as well. It is one of the least streamed 21 Pilots songs of all time, and the discourse that I see around the song is that it's either really good and one of the best or really bad and one of the worst. So I think it's a very polarizing song. Semi-Automatic and Fake You Out make a lot of sense here as well because they are some of the lesser known, lesser liked Vessel tracks. A lot of people I know don't really like Fake You Out, and a lot of people don't really consider Semi-Automatic that great. The Craving Jenna's version, any Jenna song really isn't on a lot of people's top 10 lists. I think there's just a lot of 21 Pilots fans that don't really like love songs, which makes sense. Anathema being here, I'm surprised about. I thought it would have less. It's one of those Regional at Best songs that you kind of forget about, that fades in the background, at least for me. So I'm surprised it made 3 out of 50 people's lists. Not Today, same thing. I'm surprised people like this one as much as they do, considering it is the least streamed from Blurry Face, and I understand that Blurry Face is like like the album for 21 Pilots. I'm sure Not Today is still like in the top 25 most streamed of theirs, but I didn't think it was as loved as it is. Message Man, I'm surprised it's not on more people's list. I guess it kind of fades in the background. Car Towards Your Death makes sense why it doesn't have as much as other self-titled songs. It's pretty much considered one of the weakest, and that instrumental is not liked. I remember when I made my Track 11's video, a lot of people were talking about how they don't like the song purely because of the instrumental. The Doubt demo, I'm surprised this has 3 votes for the top 10. You know, I think if I made this maybe in the future when the Doubt demo wasn't so recent, it would have less votes and it wouldn't be on many people's top 10. But it's nice to see it at least make it onto 3. As we get a little bit higher, these are the songs that made it on 4 out of 50 of the top 10 lists. Tear My Heart, I'm honestly surprised about. This is like their 4th most popular song of all time. A lot of people consider this the best Jenna song, so I would really guess it would be on more people's top 10 lists, but I guess it's in 2 out of 25 people's top 10 lists, so that's really not that bad. The Line, I'm surprised this is here as well. You know, recency bias might play a factor. It's an emotional song, so that makes a lot of sense too. I love the song, but I really did not think that it would creep its way into a lot of people's top 10s just because it's kind of different sounding for the band. My Blood makes sense that it's here. It is one of the most streamed 21 Pilots songs, and it's the 2nd most streamed from Trench, but I don't think it has too much love in the fan base. It seems like another one of those songs that's kind of polarizing. A lot of people either really like this song or really just don't like it that much. I see it in a lot of D tiers, so that kind of makes sense. Implicit Demand for Proof, I'm honestly surprised that this made so many people's lists as well. It has like a minute and a half of instrumental at the start, and a lot of 21 Pilots fans are impatient, so I'm surprised it made 4 out of the 50 list. And Snapback, I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it gets more recognition. I think it's one of the least streamed from Clancy, if not the least streamed from Clancy, so it's nice to see it here. I'm glad that it has a cult following and it made it. On 5 out of 50 top 10 lists, there were 7 songs. This is kind of crazy. 1 in 10 people, statistically, out of what I've done, have these songs on their list. So we got Goner. This makes a lot of sense. It is the emotional ballad, climax, whatever you want to call it, of Blurry Face. This is where, you know, it's really slow at the beginning, then it explodes at the end. It's very 21 Pilots. I don't like the song personally. I get why it would be up here. Shy Away, I'm surprised this has a lot of votes. I honestly feel like a lot of people think this is kind of generic. I know a lot of people do like it and it kind of has a cult following, so it makes sense, but 1 out of 10 lists feels kind of crazy. At the Risk of Feeling Dumb, this makes a lot of sense. This is like 21 Pilots when they were on Blurry Face, but more mature. It's got incredible production and the lyrics are very, very sentimental. Choker, surprised this one has as many votes as it does too. I kept seeing this one pop up, and honestly, I like it a lot, but I'm surprised you guys do. A lot of people think that ending line is kind of cringe, so I don't know. I'm glad it's here. The Outside, glad this one's here too. I thought it would kind of have more. It seems like it's one of the fan favorites from Scaled and Icy. You know, even a lot of people that don't like Scaled and Icy due to its more poppy nature kind of gravitate towards The Outside because it feels like 21 Pilots still. Mulberry Street, not surprised this one is here. I feel like this is a good middle of the road for it because it is one of those standout Scaled and Icy songs. I feel like it would be the title track from Scaled and Icy, but at the same time, it's not really talked about too much, and even though it's played at live shows, it's from Scaled and Icy, so people still don't like it for that reason. Never Take It, no idea why it's here. It is one of the least streamed 21 Pilots songs ever. I think all the Clancy songs are eventually going to beat it, as well as the Breach song, so I'm surprised this has as many as it does. I know people with it in their top 10, but I think they're kind of crazy, so it's kind of crazy to see it up here as well. On 6 out of 50 lists, there are 8 songs. That is kind of a lot. We got The Judge, makes sense. It's a fun ukulele song. It seems like it was sung very loudly by a lot of people at the Clancy World Tour shows, so obviously it's a fan favorite. Screen, Honestly surprised this one's up here. I know it's like a Vessel ukulele song, but honestly, it seems like people like Scream more than House of Gold, and that's kind of crazy. I mean, I do too, but just kind of crazy to think about. Nico and the Niners, glad it's here. It's an acquired taste. A lot of people don't like how experimental it is. A lot of people love how experimental it is. So polarizing, makes sense. It's kind of in the middle of votes. I guess not really. It's still on the lower side, but I mean, more than 1 in 10 people have it on their list based on my research. So I feel like that's pretty good. Right, guys? Anyway, Routines in the Night. Honestly, don't hear this one talked about that much besides when people say it's the most overrated from Clancy. So surprised it was on as many lists as it was. When I saw it keep popping up, I was actually kind of shocked. Fall Away, it's in my top 10. I like that it's here. You might disagree. It does have some, questionable vocals in there, but the rap flow and lyrics really save it. Backslide, honestly, surprised this one is here. It seems like it's a very underrated Clancy song. It's on a lot of people's like bottom 5 of Clancy, which I really disagree with that, but to each their own. Oldie Station, a song made for the clique. Of course, it's sentimental to us. This is about where I would think it would go as well. A lot of people who really listen to the lyrics would like it, but it seems like people who listen to 21 Pilots for the vibes don't like it as much. Car Radio. The fall off of this song is kind of insane. I feel like a few years ago, before Clancy, before Scaled and Icy, maybe before Trench, this would be on a lot of people's top 10 lists, but as time has gone on, I feel like Car Radio ages a little worse. So, it's still voted by a lot of people, but really 6 out of 50 is not that much for a song that is one of their most streamed. There were only 3 songs that were on exactly 7 lists, and we got Cut My Lip. This is in my top 10. It's actually my second most favorite 21 Pilots song of all time, so I'm glad to see it here. It's got a good percentage for a slower song, for a song that a lot of people kind of skip over and say they don't like. It's got a lot of votes for, 50 lists. Lovely? No idea how this got here, man. Not even the Lovely Vessel version. The original is here. I really don't get this one. The auto-tune is terrible. It's aged poorly. Regional at Best just doesn't have great lyrics or vocals or production or anything. So seeing this here, it's kind of crazy. I do think that this might be the Regional at Best song that was on the most amount of lists, which is kind of crazy. Then we got Lane Boy, another one of their songs that is very nostalgic. It's from that first half of Blurry Face, which might be their most iconic work just because of how popular it got and how much it is replayed over and over. Lane Boy, it used to be one of those heavy hitters. Now I feel like it's fallen off a little bit. It also wasn't played at the Clancy World Tour, so a lot of new fans might not appreciate it as much as old fans, which is why it's not higher up for being one of their most popular songs. On 8 out of 50 top 10 lists, we have Neon Gravestones, which makes a lot of sense. It is one of the most sentimental 21 Pilots songs. Tyler is really talking his shit here, and it also is a centerpiece of the lore and the centerpiece of Trench with the whole vialism thing. So it just makes sense it's up here. It has a lot going for it. Migraine also makes a lot of sense why it's up here. It almost cracks into my top 10 list. It is my favorite from Vessel, and I know it's a few people's favorite from Vessel that I know, so it's nice to see this one here. Surprised it's not a little bit higher, but kind of makes sense. The songs that are 1 vote away from being in 1 of 5 lists are Pet Cheetah, Paladin Straight, and Bandito. Pet Cheetah. This is one of my favorite songs of all time, but I'm very surprised it's gotten as many votes as it has. It's another one of those experimental songs with some corny lyrics that I don't think a lot of people would appreciate as much. I know one of my friends, Kinton, who's been in my past videos, really hates the song, and he says that Trench would be pretty much a perfect album if Pet Cheetah didn't exist. So there's some people out there like that, but I guess there is a decent amount of people that would put it in their top 10, which is really nice to see. Paladin Straight. This makes a lot of sense. A lot of people consider it the best closer. A lot of people that don't like the slower, more quote-unquote boring closers like Paladin Straight a lot because it's a uke ballad and it kind of turns into a synth song at the end. I get that. Surprised it doesn't have more votes, honestly, but I guess that Minute of Birds kind of holds it back a little bit. And then Bandito, another one of those slow songs that I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like, but you know, this song has a lot going for it in the lore, so you got that. It's also kind of a more mature car radio in a way, and I'm glad that it got on more lists than car radio. There are 2 songs that are on 10 out of the 50 lists that I counted up. This is kind of crazy because that means 1 in 5 people might have this on their list due to my statistics. Levitate comes first. This makes a lot of sense. This is arguably the best 21 Pilots rap song. It's short, it's sweet, it fades right out of Jumpsuit. A lot of people have nostalgia for this song, it being the 3rd single released from Trench, and overall it just has some good vibes. Guns for Hands. I feel like besides Stressed Out, this is the song that is sang the loudest at concerts. I'm surprised it doesn't have more streams on Spotify. Guns for Hands is a very nostalgic sounding song. It was written very well. It was written to the click, and it has a lot going for it. It is one of those nostalgic 21 Pilots songs, one of those essentials that when you think of the band, you think of Guns for Hands. So it makes sense why it would be on, 1 in every 5 people's lists. On 11 lists, we have 2 songs, Addict with a Pen and Leave the City. Addict with a Pen, I think it is the 2nd most popular from self-titled. It's also one of the only self-titled songs that's really played consistently at live shows. Also, a lot of people struggle with God. You know, a lot of people in the 21 Pilots community have links to Christianity, so it makes sense why this would be up here. A lot of 21 Pilots fans are also writers, so it makes sense why this is up here. Not really surprised by this one. Leave the City, I'm a little surprised about. Not a lot of people talk about this one very much. It's the least streamed from Trench. I know certain people who have it in their top 10, but I didn't think it was going to be as much as 11 lists out of 50. I really thought that a lot of people would just consider this one boring and slow, and when people talk about closers, they kind of more talk about Redecorate and Paladin being better than Leave the City, so it's nice to see it here, but I am a little surprised. Only 1 song is on exactly 12 lists, and it's one that really surprised me. Friend Please is a song that I really don't hear talked about that much. When it comes on, I absolutely love it. It's in my A tier. I think I have it as a 9 out of 10, but it's not really one that you hear come up often. It's not one from self-titled that seems like a lot of people really have on their top half of self-titled. So to see it here, to see a song with that strong of a message, with that good of writing, that old, being so high up on this list, being on 12 out of 50 lists is just really, really cool to see. These 3 songs that were on 13 out of 50 lists truly feel like they should have broken into the top 10, and I'm really surprised that they didn't. I would have bet my money on at least 2 of these being in the top 10. First, we got Morph. Morph is absolutely loved by everybody. I don't know one single person who hates Morph. Even people who don't like Morph have it kind of in their middle tier. Trees. Trees is the 21 Pilots song. It ends all 21 Pilots shows. Tyler wrote the song when he was 17. It's a known fact. It is iconic. I'm surprised it's not higher up, but I guess a lot of people kind of just consider it the kind of staple 21 Pilots song, you know, that they're always going to play this one, and it's just kind of maybe lower due to that. I mean, 13 is nothing to scoff at, but still. Navigating. Kept seeing Navigating come up on lists. Really thought it would be higher. It's not one that I really like that much. I think it's kind of a 7 or an 8 out of 10. But seeing a newer song on a lot of people's top 10 lists is cool. It does have that explosive nature. It makes sense why it would be this high. I'm just surprised that it didn't really make it into the top 10, considering how many people really talk about how much they love this song. So these are songs I'm really surprised did not make it into the top 10, but they got a good amount of votes. The 2 songs that got on 14 out of 50 of the top 10 lists that I counted are the 11th and 12th spot on this list. These are the two songs before we get into the top 10. We have Vignette and Trapdoor. Vignette makes a lot of sense why it's here. A lot of people, including myself, consider it the best Clancy song. I feel like Vignette is kind of like Morph, where I don't really see anyone hating on this song. I've never really seen anyone say they don't like Vignette. Even the people that don't like Vignette say it's just kind of mediocre. So, makes a lot of sense why it's up here. Surprised it didn't break into the top 10. Trapdoor, I'm so surprised this is up here. I know a lot of people like it and consider it top 3 of self-titled, but I did not think that a lot of people would consider it one of the top 10 of the entire band's discography. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Trapdoor, but it's just kind of buried in their discography. It's buried in the self-titled album, and you know, it was played recently at those An Evening with 21 Pilots shows, but besides that relevance, it hasn't been relevant in a very long time. Okay, we finally made it to the top 10. These are songs that I think need no explanation, so I'm just going to list them off. Let me know in the comments if you're surprised at what the most common top 10 21 Pilots songs are. In 10th place, with 15 votes, is Heavy Dirty Soul. Obviously, one of the most explosive openers. I was going to say closers. Heavy Dirty Soul is not a closer. In 9th place, Chlorine with 15 votes. The only reason I put Chlorine in 9th and Heavy Dirty Soul in 10th, even though they both have 15, is just because Chlorine is the more popular song. It is the 5th most popular on Spotify in terms of streams. It has over 500,000, and I'm sure over 500 million, and I'm sure it'll get to 1 billion by the time Trench is like 10 years old, probably. So it makes a lot of sense why that one's up here. 8th place really surprised me just how many people had this high. With 16 votes, Isle of Flightless Birds made its way into the top 10. So shocked that this is number 8 above Chlorine and Heavy Dirty Soul. I know a lot of people who have this in their top 10, obviously. I saw it. 16 lists is absolutely nothing to scoff at all. I was surprised how many times I just kept tallying it, but it is one of the most loved closers of the entire band. I don't really like Isle of Flightless Birds that much, and I feel like whenever I kind of shit on it, I get a lot of hate, so it makes sense why it's up here, I guess. In 7th place is Ode to Sleep with 16 votes as well. Again, the only reason this is above Isle of Flightless Birds is due to Spotify streams. Ode to Sleep, kind of surprised to see it up here. Obviously, it's one of the most iconic 21 Pilots songs, and it's another opener that's explosive and has a lot of love behind it, but just kind of surprised to see, you know, this be the second Vessel song that is in the top 10. Did not think that it would make it this high. In 6th place, with 16 votes as well, is Holding On To You. Holding On To You, one of the songs that is played at every 21 Pilots show, one of the songs that is the most iconic 21 Pilots song, one of the songs that should have more streams. Not surprised at all that it's up here. It's considered the best Vessel song by pretty much everybody, at least top 3 Vessel songs by everybody, so makes sense why it's up here. It would have been one of the ones that I would have guessed to be up here. Now we're getting into the top 5, and all of these top 5ers were on different lists, different amounts of times. With 17 lists, we got Taxi Cab. Taxi Cab is pretty much considered the best self-titled song. I don't think so. I think it's the second best after Fall Away. But we did this poll in my Discord. Check out the Discord if you'd like. It's in the description below. Where we tried to see what the best self-titled song was with a bracket, and Taxi Cab won. It's no surprise. I know a lot of people who have this as their favorite in their top 5, and obviously in their top 10. So it's nice to see it up here, especially in the top 5 of the top 10. In 4th place, on 19 lists, almost 2 out of 5 people have this on their lists. Jumpsuit. Jumpsuit makes so much sense to be up here. When it came out, it was an absolutely generational song, and it is still an absolutely generational song. It's in my bottom 5 trench, but I think every trench song is a 10 out of 10, so you can't really go by that for me. Jumpsuit, it just has so much going for it. The verses slap so hard. It's like nothing 21 Pilots had ever done before, and it's an absolute standout in their discography. The bass line is one of, if not the best 21 Pilots bass line of all time. And then this is like the last song where Tyler Joseph screams for real like he used to. So I feel like that adds a lot to it as well. And I think it's deserving to be up so high. In third place with 23 lists, almost half of everybody that I asked or looked at has this in their top 10. Next Semester. Next Semester is a completely new sound for the band. Next Semester has that insane switch up at the end. And Next Semester not only has incredible drums where Josh is going so crazy, but it's Tyler talking about something that might be the most personal thing he's ever talked about. He's talking about the way he tried to commit suicide, and he's turning it into this cathartic song where, you know, it's a contradiction because of how happy it sounds, but the lyrics are so down. But it is very good. Makes a lot of sense why it's up here. Don't know if it's recency bias, but I'll take it. In second place with 24 votes, again, almost half of the lists that I looked at had this on there. Overcompensate. Crazy, man. Crazy. This was my favorite song at one point. It's been in my top 5. Now it's my number 6. It deserves to be here. It goes absolutely insane. It's like 8 songs poured into one. The Bandito reference, callback, whatever, is awesome. The drums go crazy. It's the hardest Josh has drummed since Heavy Dirty Soul. Tyler absolutely rapping like a badass. Love this song. Love how many people love this song. It's pretty much considered the best opener that 21 Pilots has ever done. And I know a lot of people that have this as their number 1 song. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. But in first place on 26 lists, more than half of the lists had this song on it. Redecorate. It's my favorite. It's a lot of people's favorites. If it's not your favorite, you can appreciate this song. It is the best from Scaled and Icy, no question. If you say it's not, you're either delusional or, you know, you like the happy poppy side and you're like, Redecorate doesn't deserve to be on Psy. It should have been on Clancy or Trench or whatever. Like, shut up. Shut up. No one cares. It's on Scaled and Icy and it fits. Listen. No song that I've ever seen has been written about not wanting to clean your room or debating whether you're going to clean your room before you commit suicide. And I think that's pretty crazy. There's a lot of lyrics in here that go absolutely insane. I absolutely love how it's 3 different perspectives that all come together to sing the same chorus. And the instrumentation is just music to my ears. It's produced so well. You can tell that this is a Paul Meany production. Might not be my favorite produced song ever, but it's my favorite song of all time, and I'm glad that you guys have it up there as well. I think the lyrics really add to it, and even if you don't like the sonic sounding of the song, you can appreciate what the song is trying to say. So that's the most common top 10 21 Pilots songs. Kind of surprised a lot of stuff was not included up here, like Morph, like Vignette, like Trapdoor, like Trees, like Navigating. Kind of surprised they weren't up here as high as much as I saw them in your lists. But overall, I think this is a pretty good and solid list of the top 10. It's pretty even. We got 2 Clancy, we got 1 Scaled and Icy, we got 2 Trench, we got 2 Vessel, and we got 1, Blurry Face. So pretty good, all things considered. Thank you guys for talking about your top 10s. If you were put in this video with a screenshot, let me know. Tell me if you think a lot of these were fair or just, or what you guys think the most common 21 Pilot songs would be. The favorites, if I did a test with more people, if I took 100 lists, if I took 200 lists, if I took 1,000 lists. Let me know what you guys would think. Let me know what songs were absolutely robbed. And it's good to be back. Thank you. Don't know when the next video will be, but I'll see you then.